Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Leos. Let me tell you something, Leo. June, we're going to be doing your June 2025 reading. I feel like you will have the best month out of all the signs. And let me tell you why. I feel like number one, you're going to feel very pleased within your life. Um, love, you're going to have Venus in the second half of the month enter your life, and it's the planet of love. I feel like there's going to be good surprises. Um, and Venus is really going to align perfectly with your fiery side. This is going to be a time to fully enjoy the pleasures of life. Your charm is going to be off the charts. Be careful with that. I actually put down handle with care, because you're already charming. So imagine that being magnified. That's going to be you. So when Jupiter enters in the second half of the second half of the month, it's also bringing you luck. And I have a feeling this is what some of the surprises that I'm feeling is. It feels like it has to do with luck, but luck that you have earned. It's like good karma, let's say. Um, you really couldn't have hoped for a more favorable month or more favorable conditions than you're receiving, planetary wise. Um, I would say that this month, what you're doing is you're creating good karma. You're creating good karma, baby. So this is a month to, I don't know, I feel like just soar because you have that ability. If any sign has that ability, it's you. Like I always feel the spotlight is meant to be on you. Um, so we'll see when we go to the cards, but I'm just sure that I just feel like this is going to be maybe intense, but I feel like it's going to be very uplifting. So we'll see. So this is going to be for Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided. You, many of you know I read through my spirit guides, and that's why I feel like many of you are intuitively guided, even to readings that you're not sure. Like, do I have Leo in my chart? Um, if you feel a nudge towards not just my reading, but any reading, especially if they read intuitively, then I would just trust that instinct, because you may have Leo somewhere in your chart you don't know about. But really, we're a little bit of everything anyway. Um, you could certainly be in love with a Leo. You guys know I have a lot of Leo love in my life, platonically, romantically. Mine's all platonic, but um, yeah, so same thing. Your guides know you're here, so they'll get messages to you. Um, Let me do my birthday shout outs real quick. So I'll start with my grandson Lexington, who is right in the cusp of Cancer and Leo. He is July 23rd. My mom, who has crossed over August 5th. Um, Sam's mom, which I never mentioned, but I feel like I should now. She's crossed over also August 8th. My soul sister Diane is August 16th. And then my boyfriend, who is right on the cusp of Leo and Virgo. He's actually a Virgo, but you know, in some astrology they read him as a Leo. They also read me as a Leo. I'm a Virgo. But yeah, he's right on that cusp. So he is a Virgo, but he definitely has a lot of Leo traits. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them. And I say, let's get into your reading, Leo. I've been waiting to do this. I've just been feeling the call. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. We are going to use a few different decks. Mother Mary for her words of wisdom. guess what? I got a new clarity. Well, these aren't new, but I decided to try a different deck to clarify and go deeper with. And I've been using them for the month of June. So I thought you guys want a little variety and I want to give it to you. For your main spread, we're going to use the Psychic Tarot. And I have to tell you, very seldom do I use the Psychic Tarot for Leo, but I felt called to it. And I listened, like the one thing I have learned through doing tarot for so many years, what it's done is really given me a spiritual awakening. I've had a spiritual awakening. I trust my intuition above all. So, not sure why I was telling you that. We will use the major arcanas. Oh, because I allow a deck to call to me for each sign versus me just saying, what deck do I want to use today? All right. So I'm just going to take a minute, calm my energy, and let's begin. All right. Start with Mother Mary. Whispering words of wisdom, let it be. Click. I feel like a lot of people just clicked off. I've had so many people say, Sandy, why you sing? I can't help myself. That's why. All right. Songs always come to my mind. Um, Not just in readings, but like just in everyday life. Like just lyrics. Like they'll just come into my mind. All right. Mother Mary. You got a few, and they're all face up. So, well, uh, okay, you got three. We have family. I pray for my family and give this situation over to God for answers, support, and healing. Your family. So I feel like if any prayers have been said, they're being heard. Children. My heart is filled with love for children, which creates miracles and positive changes for them and me. Children. And then, inner child, so funny, because I was just going to say that what I love about Leo, yeah, she can be very serious and all that, but boy, do you love to let your inner child out to play. And it's truly what I love about, I mean, I love many things about you. Um, but yeah, I love your inner child, and I'm so happy this just came out. I nurture the child within me through playfulness and self care. Okay, so let's put these right here. And we will now bring in the major arcanas. And as many of you know, some don't. I use these for like bullet points. So we shoot for 3 to 4. Very seldom do I refuse, more comes out. But I feel like they bring a lot of value to your readings. Whoa. Okay. Like that. That's way too many. That's most of the deck, but we're going to take that one. I'm not going to look at it yet. It's like I want to be surprised. Look at that. They're coming face down. I'll do one more shuffle, see if anything else wants to come out. I say one more shuffle, but I know something else wants to come out. I just feel it. I feel it. Okay, look at that. All face down. We start with the Death card. Card of Scorpio. Death card is about transformation. So something is probably ending, but it probably is meant to end. And, I feel like when we allow ourselves to go through these transformations without resistance, just the easier they are. And some of these things may be doors that you want to close. But remember, with the death card, every time you close a door, a new door opens. It reminds me, I said this in another reading, but every time I say that, I think of every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings. So, transformation, closing of a door, but it's really about a rebirth. Put that right there. We have the moon. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Heart of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. I feel like the moon is going to play a big role also in your month, but in a very good way. So the moon, it can talk about uncertainties, but because it's following the death card, talking about transformation, I feel like it's talking more about the dreamy type energy that the moon carries. Dreamy. And then we have the hangman. The hangman. Hangman is a pause in the action. The hangman is seeking wisdom, usually spiritual wisdom to use on this earthly plane. The hangman has bound themselves loosely so they can free themselves. But I feel like this is someone who is really looking for the right advice, the right time. And it is mirroring the death card. So is it time to close this chapter? You know, I am going to remind you that we're in the universal year 9, the year of the hermit. Um, and it's all about final reflection. This is the end of a 9-year cycle. And you really do want to think about what and who you want to bring along for the next 9 years or the rest of your life. The death card is signifying that also. But when you close one door, I feel like the next door that opens again is very dreamy. So let's bring in the psychic tarot and let's see what this hangman is hanging around for. Everything is always pre-shuffled, just so you know. But I like to give a shuffle with you here also. All right. We start with your major arcana. This is the strength card. It's called power. Look at this person. Half man, half lion. This is because the strength card really talks about looking within oneself. Sometimes I feel like it's like looking at our shadow self, getting to know our shadow self. Um, because when we do, I feel like that's when we find real balance. But doing that is really what it does is it gives you courage. Interesting. All of a sudden, I'm thinking of the Wizard of Oz, and I think it was the lion that was seeking courage. And look at that. Here's a lion with courage. 8, also the number of infinity, as above, so below. No beginning, no end. And it also means new beginnings. Well, with the death card right there, that makes sense. But it feels to me like you are ready. I feel like some of you have, I don't know, I feel like cleared a lot of past energy. You have goals on your mind, and I think you're going to accomplish them. All right. Dang. All right. Another 8, by the way. So, trapped in fear is what it's called in this deck. This is a self created prison. but literally, just like the hangman could really free himself or herself. The same here. This person, they created these barriers around them. You can see they were in deep thought. Well, it's called trapped in fear. So, since this is self-created, the only person who can uncreate it is you. But I feel like the Strength card and the Eight of Swords, I feel like they're talking to each other. And that might be why the Hangman is in this paused energy. First of all, 88 could be two new beginnings. And then, well, hello world, the next chapter. That means there has been a completion. Am I going to allow to, you know, end though at the same time? Yeah, this is a 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. Energy of joy, optimism. But this really is the next chapter. Again, we're in the year of the hermit, but we're moving into the year of the magician. And I feel like there's nothing we can't manifest, but be realistic at the same time. Like, I probably can't manifest someone who has zero interest in me. But if, let's say, I want to manifest love, and especially because I feel like you've gone through some difficult energy, but I feel like you chose to. It's like you chose to like really look within yourself and figure out what is it I can change, what is it I do have control over. But one thing you have control over is yourself. Many times we don't have control of the world out there, but ourselves we do. And even in the Eight of Swords, when this person is like no more, it is freedom. It is true freedom. So I just feel like some of you had to go through this state. It's kind of like a spiritual awakening in a way. That's what it feels like to me. Like going through the dark night of the soul, knowing myself, knowing my light, but also knowing my shadow. Some of you might have been a little leery about ending a chapter, but I feel like with the what's called the universe here, the world, the next chapter, same thing with the death card, right? Death. And then you usually will see slash rebirth. Same thing with the universe. It means one thing is over, but something else is ready to open up. Well, you have two eights, so it could be two things. Let's keep going. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Look. So we got all these cards, but look, with the only one that came face up. Love begins. Now, romantic love, probably. But I also feel a love of yourself, like giving yourself unconditional love. Remember, I definitely feel like this is a month where you can really create some good karma for yourself. And that doesn't come through like, how much money do I make? It really comes through your, what's the energy? I like your energy. Love begins. That's the Ace of Cups. Under the Hangman. I think I'm going to take 5 across. So let's slide these over because I like each one. Definitely feel like the world is meant to be under the moon. So, you know, when I say dreamy energy, what does the world bring in? The Ace of Cups. That's pretty dreamy. All right. Temptation. Mirroring your major arcana strength card. Some of you are overcoming something that may have like hold you down. Um, I'm going to be honest. I feel like it's a self-inflicted wound. And I know some are going to be like, oh, yes, Sandy. Uh-uh. It's probably not for everyone, but it is reading that way. I mean, temptation and then the strength card. So the power to overcome. Let's remember that temptation, first of all, it's the card of Capricorn. Um, but it's usually called the devil. And the devil is very good, or let's just say dark energy is very good at casting illusions. Well, the illusion is casting is that you're stuck and maybe you can't overcome. But that's what you might be telling yourself. It's not the truth. It just might be what you told yourself. Memories of love. Memories of love. This is the Six of Cups, is about nostalgia. It's about treasured memories. I get a feeling some are like, I wish I could be, maybe something pulled you in of a darker nature and like this wanting to be back to yourself again. Your true self. Your true self. This could also represent someone that you know. Um, I feel like it would be someone back in the day, so to speak, but this would be someone, if it has anything to do with love, there would be good memories of, really happy memories. All right, we have truth, which is judgment, which is your spiritual team. They're coming under that Eight of Swords. It's like they want you to free yourself. They want to help they want to help you help yourself. So judgment is calling you to the present moment. Well, that makes sense because right now it's mirroring the death card. Closing of a door, opening of a new door. Death card talks about a rebirth. I don't know yet if it's connected to the Six of Cups. For some, it may be. Someone may be fearful of reaching out, but for some reason, I get a feeling that it's not you. Now, it could be, but I feel like there's someone who may want to reach out to you. Um, but I feel like I don't know whether Leo would accept this or not. You know, I feel like you just take a chance. Take a chance on me, take a chance on you. Take a chance because I feel it'd be better just to know the truth than to wait and wonder and wait and wonder and wonder and wait. You know what I mean? Take back control of your life. But anyways, so judgment's calling you to the present moment. The death card saying that a chapter it's done. It feels like it's meant to be done, like it has run its course. Sometimes we do have a hard time of letting these doors close. But the more that we understand energy, the more that we understand that, we have to close doors. Otherwise, could you imagine like carrying everything around all the time? Or let's say if it's talking about love, staying with someone where there just is no love. Why? Right? Because you have a right to be happy in your life. All right. Obstacles and challenges. Okay. Patience. Patience, my child, right under the Ace of Cups, right under love begins, and mirroring the Hangman. So this number one is the card of Sagittarius. And yes, it is asking for patience, but it's about trusting in divine timing. With judgment here also, whatever is next, I definitely feel you're going to feel it. Like you're going to feel if it's right or it's wrong. That's your intuition. There may be one last little thing that needs to be dealt with so that you can enter into this next chapter free. Now, I'm not saying like if you're with someone, like I'm kicking them out. No, I mean free within yourself. Your thoughts are free. You've earned this courage. You'll never lose that courage. Temperance, trusting in divine timing. I feel like well, it must be talking about love. Deception and envy. Seven of Swords, under temptation. Interesting, the Seven of Swords is mirroring the Six of Cups, and they're very different energies. Six of Cups is really happy, treasured memories. Seven of Swords is really untrustworthy energy. Now, it's coming under the Devil's energy. It's looking right over at patience, temperance. Like, like someone's trying to sneak by temperance's energy, but it won't happen. Like, you know, you may think that you snuck by it. And for some reason, I'm not feeling it's you. Seven of Swords, to me, I really don't like that energy because, it can talk about someone who cheats, but let's not go to extremes. To me, it means like someone who has a hard time telling the truth. But the reason why is they don't want to deal with the consequences. Like in their mind, I'd rather just tell you whatever you want to hear so I don't have to listen to what you're going to say next. It's almost like they know. I hope this is what's leaving. I hope. Oh my. Hello, lovers. Called harmony in this deck. Their hands touching, eye to eye. I just did a podcast. I haven't released it yet. But talking about twin flames, I'm trying to like take subjects and dig as deep as we can go so that we truly understand them. Wow. It's just making me wonder, you know, um, and I did not release it yet. It's ready. All right, let me just reposition myself. Let me grab a drink because I feel like I'm going to talk a lot. All right. So, what I feel right now is there's no way that this Seven of Swords and this Ace of Cups are connected. I feel like temptation and the Seven of Swords is probably the door you're now closing. So, again, it doesn't even have to mean love. It can be family, it can be friends. It's love, but it could be platonic love or romantic love. Someone. Man, you know what I feel like? I feel like someone has kind of been putting you through the ringer. And it may have been like a karmic test because I feel like the only way to, let's say, complete this test was to go deep, was to go within myself. And for some of you, it's just the realization that you do have the right to live life the way you want. I know sometimes that sounds mean, but I truly believe that, like, this life was given to you and it's not that long. So, how long do I want to stay in a self created prison? Well, your spiritual team is like, no more. And it really is a sense of freedom. I feel like the Seven of Swords and these obstacles and challenges, I feel like they're connected because Temperance is right in between. Almost like Temperance wants you to understand. There could be some energy, a person, or a thing that just kept pulling you back in over and over. And it just feels like it wasn't going to end until you decided to end it. And I do feel like it took a lot. You know, I know I have some who are recovering alcoholics. My son, that's what he crossed over. Um, just ran in the family, not me, but his father. Actually, my grandfather was a lot. There was a lot, but, you know, I feel like this is, well, I would just say if that's you, just stay alert. Just stay alert. But I feel like temperance, I mean, these obstacles and challenges, you have divine energy on both sides of it. And it is a five, and five stands for change. Well, then you have the world above that. And I feel the world is the most spiritual time. So I have a feeling the hangman, even though, he's in the upright, I have a feeling soon he'll be reversed. And that means a spiritual awakening. Some of you may be going through that right now. I did a podcast on that also. There's ebbs and flows to a spiritual awakening. Some expect it just to be beautiful, but it is truly knowing oneself. It's the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. All right. Let's see what's under the lovers. Well, hello. Hello, Nine of Cups. So, number one, that's inner fulfillment, which is exactly what I feel you need with these two eights opening up the reading. But it's also, if you see, fulfillment of wishes. And what does that bring out? The lovers. So the lovers, the meaning of the card is the head over heart decision. Um, and it certainly could be the case. But I feel like in the lover's energy, the chemistry is usually undeniable. Like, just undeniable. All right, let's bring in the clarifying. Let's just go deeper. Deeper if we dare. I dare. Do you? Hello, magician. So interesting. I was just talking about how we are in the year of the hermit. And 2026, we're moving into the year of the magician. It's going to be powerful energy. And that's why this energy of the hermit is so important. Well, it looks like you know that. It looks like that's exactly what you've been doing. It's like you've been doing inner work. And I do have a feeling it's going to pay off for you. Magician, what do you want to manifest today? Right over your major arcana. We have Seven of Pentacles over the Eight of Swords. And then we have the Seven of Swords over the world. Okay, so interesting because we have 88 and 77. Well, I remember 1977. It was a great year for me. Um, I was 17 and having the time of my life. But anyways, so when I see the Seven of Pentacles, I feel like it's your tree of life. And I feel like all the seeds on that tree are of your soul's intention. You know, seeds that you have planted. By the way, I don't think I said in the beginning, I also feel that your money, you know, as long as you're willing to put the work in, I feel like this is a month where, and I feel like it's just the beginning where you're going to start really reaping the benefits. Now, that could be more money, but it could also be more opportunities. I have a feeling you're going to get more epiphanies. So, the Seven of Pentacles, some of those seeds have already been planted. It does mean that certain seeds are ready to be picked. You know, to me, it's like divine timing. Now, I feel like when we see the Seven of Pentacles in a reading, then everything that's in the reading was meant to happen. Well, why with the Seven of Swords? Why was that meant to happen? It probably taught you something. It probably helped you to evolve, maybe by reclaiming your own power. You know, I feel like the world is saying, really ask yourself, because maybe some of you are still dealing with, you know, someone or something that, well, it feels like someone that, I don't know, may carry untrustworthy energy, may tell a lot of little lies. Just the way he's touching the death card, closing that door. And I feel like the world's asking you, like, do you want to bring this along? Do you want this as part of your next chapter? Because if you do, I feel like the obstacles and challenges would only continue. So it's really like divine is just pointing that out to you. Interesting that we got 88 and 77 all connected. All right, well, let's keep going. I don't know if I said that lovers is also a card of Gemini. We have, I can't even see what this is. The Seven of Cups. Interesting. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Oh, I see the number now. Seven of Cups over the Ace of Cups. So that means you are making a decision. You know, Seven of Cups can be making a decision in chaotic type energy. Well, right next to the Seven of Swords. By the way, hello, 777. I mean, that's good luck at the casino, and luck is on your side. But anyway, this is you making a decision. Are you going to allow yourself to fall in love? And then we have the death card now, right over temptation. Closing that door, overcoming, mirroring the magician. So, literally, that new door, the power you have within that new door to manifest, well, the way you want your life to be. You know, like put your intentions out there. I feel like the more optimistic you can be, and I do feel like the energy is going to really help you with that. Um, I feel like the easier it is to manifest, but the seven of cups can feel chaotic. It may be like someone reaches out when you're in this chaotic moment. But temperance is right below that. I mean, this Ace of Cups feels like it's meant to be. It was just meant to be in its divine timing. Which is, is something. It's interesting because I talked about that on the Twin Flame podcast. That a lot of times twin flames will come together and then break up, because each has to do their own work on them. Their own inner work. I wonder if some of you are in a twin flame relationship or about to be, just because I'm talking about it. So, closing of the door, then the magician. Double Scorpio, by the way, on the board. We have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords mirroring the Seven of Swords. Toxicity. It's other people's toxicity. We have the Eight of Pentacles under the Seven of Pentacles. We have the Six of Wands. Yep, Six of Wands over, well, obstacles and challenges. I love that because this is the energy of victory and success. Sitting next to the Eight of Pentacles, like truly, what do you want to manifest today? If it's money and you're willing to put in the work, then you're going to reap those benefits. Six of Wands is where other people are really looking up to you. And it's because of action steps you've taken. Let's say that some of you, you were pulled like towards alcohol or towards substance or even towards, narcissistic type energy. But then you do overcome it. You do recover. I could see you then helping others. Again, I feel like you're creating good karma. And good karma is really created by, how we help our fellow man and woman. Now, some of you, this may be what you're either doing for a living or what you're going to be doing for a living. Eight of Pentacles would say, don't be afraid of going into something as the apprentice, but just know that if you put your focus on it, the day will come where you will call yourself the master teacher, or other people will call you that. And you know, it doesn't feel like far off. We have the High Priestess, your intuition, over temperance. Interesting, because now the High Priestess is marrying the Hangman. So it's like temperance is saying to the Hangman, you have to trust your intuition when it's time to move. And it feels like now it's time for some type of movement. Remember, the high priestess is your GPS in this lifetime. It will guide you. And I love that it's coming over divine's energy. That's divine guidance. That means you can trust it. But let's say you have a hard time trusting your intuition. Maybe you're working on that. Um, do not be afraid to ask your guides, or if you invited your angels in, because remember, your spirit guides are always guiding you. Your angels need your permission. So if you feel like, I think that was a sign, but I'm not sure, ask them to send it again. They will. Make it so I cannot deny it. Oh, they will. I feel like you are starting on what feels like a new journey. Doesn't have to be in all areas of your life. I definitely see your money improving, not just improving, um, like I see you at the top of your game. And maybe not everybody is happy for you, but maybe the ones who aren't happy for you are the ones who need to be part of that closing of a door. I mean, why wouldn't they be happy for you? Sometimes it's the envy. Like, why are you so good at this? Leo, you're so good at so many things. Like, I feel like you're so artistic. Um, you're very well spoken. You really carry beautiful but strong energy. Even when you're not feeling strong within yourself, you project that you are strong. Now, let's just think about that. So, I project that I'm strong. I project that, maybe I have the answers, but inside, maybe I don't feel that way. It's interesting. I just get this feeling that a lot of people need to start watching their moon sign with their sun sign, because the sun is what you show the world. The sun is your ruler, by the way. But the sun is really what you show the world, and the moon is your inner feelings. And you do have the moon here. It kind of reminds me of like your inner child energy. Okay. I feel like you give Leo the energy of the magician and just watch what they do with it. I hope you know you have that power. And I kind of skipped over this a little bit. But when I see the Seven of Pentacles, I really feel like everything has happened to this point was meant to happen. Because it probably taught you something. It probably helped you evolve. And sometimes it is difficult lessons. But coming over the Eight of Swords, this is controlling yourself. I may not be able to control everyone out there, but the one thing I can control is me. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But just being really honest with yourself. Some of you, the hangman is representing something that you want to do in the world as it relates to like career, finances. Could be like a side hustle. that maybe you would really like to be your main hustle. This is perfect energy for that. Especially if you, let's say, are working for the man or the woman and there's drama and envy, and you really feel like, I don't know how much more I could take. But I feel like you do have the ability to do something um, on your own. But you do have to have the guts to go after it at the same time. We have the Three of Pentacles, and with the Three of Pentacles came out the Two of Swords. Okay, so the Three of Pentacles, really one of my favorite cards because it's celebrating you, your individuality, what you're doing in the world. This is a very creative energy. You have a lot of creativity on the board right now. You have a lot of love on the board also. But your creativity and your money um, look very, very good. I feel like this is saying trust within yourself also. That you can do whatever it is you want to do. And don't listen to other people. Don't listen to the naysayers. Again, it could be coming from envy. And then the Two of Swords. So we did go down, we went from the Eight of Swords down to the Two of Swords. Two Swords normally talks about this blindfold that this person is wearing. And it could simply be something, that I didn't want to face. Sometimes, the longer I don't face it, the bigger that monster seems. But then I take my blindfold off and I'm like, wait a minute. All that fear I had, and none of it's manifesting. It's reminding me of a story. I'm not going to go into it. Um, but just like the silly fears I had before I moved in with Sam, it was about like, oh man, I don't want to have to wear makeup every day, and I don't want to have to do my hair every day, and I don't want to look all girly every single day. Um, and it really held me back, you know, until I realized, well, he's either going to love me for exactly who I am or not. And all those fears, there was no need. I came here. I like very seldom wear makeup. But we accept each other completely. So, anyways, Two Swords just feels like a little bit of fear, but again, it feels like it's coming from outside sources. Like someone who may have said, you want to create what? And you think you're going to make money doing that? It's almost like they're trying to talk you out of something. But yet, divine is here, like saying, no, you are right. They are wrong. And again, I feel like envy is the reason. I feel like Leo has I guess of all the signs, I don't know if I've ever said this, but I feel like more people envy Leo. I'm not going to say than any other sign, but I just know a lot of people do envy you. Why? Well, number one, the sun is your ruler. Like you are meant to be in the spotlight. You really can shine. The sun to me represents a brand new day, playfulness. All right, let's go underneath. Let's get a little more clarity. So it looks like this Ace of Cups is coming in because it's putting you in a question mode. And it makes sense with the Seven of Cups, right? Because you're questioning whether you're going to accept this cup. Well, I feel like you're questioning really whether this cup will be good for you. But because, again, all this divine energy around it, I definitely feel like it's going to be good for you. We have the Eight of Cups. Beautiful. So now we do have three eights and three sevens, maybe more. Um, Eight of Cups is finding emotional clarity. You know how we saw the Nine of Cups? Well, when you do the work of the Eight of Cups, and it's just really looking within your emotional house, what has held me back? Why do I maybe not trust love? Has something to do with one of these cups of the past. But again, if it's has to do with this deception and envy, well, number one, I feel like you get it at this point. You're heading towards that Nine of Cups. You're heading towards inner fulfillment and fulfillment of wishes. Oh, I'm like, what am I holding? Okay, let's take him this way. We have, well, hello, Ten of Pentacles. Oh my God. Look at this line. Seven of Pentacles. So, Seven of Pentacles, you really can't see it in this image. But usually you'll see a tree that has all these pentacles on it. And I feel like some of the pentacles, or some of the, pentacles were predestined. Like, your soul's intention of an experience that it knew it wanted to have. But remember, we are born with amnesia, and that's part of the adventure of the soul. But look at this. It's like, I feel like if you have fear about creating something, I feel like your spiritual team is trying to, how do I say this? Um, Show you the truth about your abilities. And literally in the Eight of Pentacles, all you need to do is put your focus on it. And if you put your focus on it, then it means it will grow to the point of you becoming the master teacher. Well, the Six of Wands, again, is where other people are looking up to you, whether it's for advice or whether you're on a stage. And then look what it moves into, that Ten of Pentacles. I mean, hello, money. I say hello, money, but it's much more than that. I feel like this is going to bring you not just the money factor, but for some of you, I feel like you may be working for yourself or starting. I feel like there's someone out there starting a new company. And maybe you were waiting for the perfect time. Well, this feels like the right time. All right, let's take what's faced up first. We have the King of Cups. Now, King of Cups is mirroring the Seven of Swords, so I don't know. And he's coming over obstacles and challenges, so I don't know about him yet. We have the Four of Cups. This makes sense. Four of Cups talks about discontentment or boredom, but in one's emotional life. It looks like money-wise, creative-wise, business-wise, if there's something you want to do, or if there's something that maybe you've already laid the groundwork, but you really haven't been reaping those benefits, well, you're going to start reaping those benefits. So your money, I feel like it just looks fantastic. And victory and success. And maybe that's why, with the Seven of Swords above it and the Seven of Swords over here, sometimes when we're doing well, the wrong people can put their hands out like, gimme, gimme, gimme. But wait a minute, I'm the one who did all this work. Yeah, no, but I need money. Give me money. Give me money. You know, sometimes we gotta learn to say no. Anyways, so the Four of Cups, that's why I was talking about your money, because this really talks about dissatisfaction within your emotional life. Well, it's in the line of the Ace of Cups. It's coming under temperance, all about divine timing. But divine timing is met with judgment, who's calling you to the present moment. Same thing with the death card, right? What chapter can now close? Because maybe until this one chapter closes, this new door cannot open. Feels like a backdraft, like I try to open it, but I can't. Maybe I haven't completely closed that door. But there is a cup coming in. We already see it. So this is about using your spiritual discernment. Well, it's also connected to the high priestess, your intuition. I have a feeling you're accepting this cup. Of course, that is everyone's personal choice. Oh my gosh. And then we have the soulmates. Then we have the soulmates. Wow. I love the soulmates and the Three of Pentacles together, because Three of Pentacles is all about your individuality. It's celebrating that. But it's when you see the lovers or the soulmates connected to that, to me, it's about someone else recognizing you, your individuality, and loving you for exactly who you are. If there are certain challenges you need to overcome, I feel like you will. I feel like you do. And that may be part of, again, divine timing. But I feel like judgment's kind of put a little urgency, like, come on, Leo. Come on, Leo. Can't help but feel this King of Cups, male or female, by the way, was an issue. And I'm going to say was, mainly because we've gone from the Eight of Swords down to the Two. So that tells me you are breaking yourself free. And, when it comes to love, I feel like the Two of Swords is almost natural. That's the human part of us, but it could be, if we allow it, butterflies. Sometimes we read the energy wrong. And that may be why the High Priestess is also right next to it, your intuition. I mean, you definitely don't want to repeat, you know, energy, or you don't want to repeat love with someone who you can't trust. But listen, as you evolve, so does everything around you. And really think about that. As you raise your vibration, well, law of attraction means that whatever comes in for you must also be of that vibration. The lovers, they're looking in each other's eyes. The soulmates, they're looking in each other's eyes. I have a feeling I have some soulmate love happening, and maybe a few twin flames. This cup is coming in, ready or not. Here I come. You may wonder, like I did, will someone love me for exactly who I am, or will I have to wear a mask? Will I have to pretend I'm this when I'm really not? Well, I feel like if that happens, if someone would come in and be like, you know, you need to change this and that and this and that about you, that may not be your person. Though I do want to say twin flames and soulmates, they hold a mirror up. We hold a mirror up for each other. And anything that's been left unhealed, we're going to see it. But that's the opportunity to then heal it, to understand it. So here comes this cup. Your intuition. It's interesting because here comes this cup. You have the Seven of Cups over the actual cup, where it says love begins, by the way. Usually it just says the Ace of Cups. This one says love begins. You're making a decision. I feel like temperance, I don't feel like it. Your spiritual team, let's just say, is saying trust your intuition. That means that they're going to help you feel, I feel like a little bit more comfortable. I feel like if any fear rises, beyond like natural butterflies, you know, um, like just have your eyes wide open. But I feel like you're saying goodbye to that old energy. Those who just didn't believe in you, who told you you couldn't, they're part of that door you're closing. Those who maybe you were in love with that just couldn't tell you the truth. Well, you're part of that door. This Four of Cups and the Ace of Cups is new. Now, for some of you, could certainly be someone of yesteryear. Doesn't have to be, but could be. It is mirroring the Two of Cups, by the way. Trying to think if there's anything I want to look at before I bring out the clarifying love situations. And I think I do. I just don't know what yet. I feel like I get your money. And what I mean by that is I get, like, this reading is talking about a real opportunity to increase your finances, even to do something that you love. I'm not going to say it won't take your hard work. It probably will, but I have a feeling you're going to love what you do. And the Three of Pentacles also represents that, like something that you were just made to do. But sometimes we don't know that until we take a step in. I think what I'm going to do, because I feel like your reading's being very, very clear with us. I feel like I just want to go right across the middle. Ace of Cups again. Queen of Cups. Interesting. Interesting. I'm saying interesting because we have the King of Cups here, but we have the Seven of Swords mirroring this King of Cups. Now we have the Queen of Cups who's sitting next to this Ace of Cups. She's looking at this cup. She's not looking down at him. So, him or her. But I get a feeling this is energy that is a part of what should go. And, I feel like, let's say you're in a relationship right now, because this could also be the case. Some of you may be connected to someone where I don't feel like there's any love left. But I feel like it's you, like you've fallen out of love, and they've given you every reason to. But it doesn't mean you don't want love in your life. It's just you want trustworthy love. You want unconditional love. Hello, hangman in the awakened state. I knew it. I just knew it. First of all, love with the awakened hangman. And the awakened hangman's also touching this other cup. Wow. That is a high vibrational love. That's why we're seeing soulmates and twin flames. This isn't just like a free will love. This is love. And don't forget, we have the world. So this is talking about the next chapter. Even the magician, can represent 2026, but I don't feel like we have to wait. Once we close certain doors, just what's no longer serving us, what's getting in our way, then it feels like everything opens. Now, I'm not saying you haven't been doing anything, because I feel like a lot of you have. Like you've been working, creating, you are going to see the fruits of your labor. But maybe love is the one thing you felt like is not going great. Well, I kind of love that. The awakened hangman. Oh my gosh. And then the marriage card. Commitment. True commitment. I love this energy. Look at this marriage card mirroring the Ace of Cups. The awakened hangman. So this hangman has found the answers. This hangman sitting right below the ace, or sitting right above the Ace of Cups, now is in the awakened state. But this may talk about two people's journey, each going through their own things. And then when they come together, well, I feel like it's forever. You know what I do want to? I want to come down to this Six of Cups real quick. Because I feel like for some of you, it could be someone from like back in the day. And I just want a little bit more clarity on that. I don't know why lately I've been feeling like a lot of people are moving. Some are moving like back home, back to, where they grew up or where they went to college, somewhere where they have happy memories. We have the Two of Pentacles and we have the Five of Pentacles. So I definitely feel like you were together before and then you weren't. Reminds me a little of Sam and I. We dated as teenagers, I think for about a year, and then we broke up. But here we are back together. Some of you may not even know that there's someone from back in the day that is still interested in you. But if that's the case, you are going to know that. Let's just say if they find the guts, to reach out. But if you know who I'm talking about, I would reach out. You don't have to reach out and be like, oh, I loved you so much. You could just reach out and be like, it's strange. You've been on my mind lately and just want to make sure everything's okay. And then before you know it, you're on the phone for hours. And then you talk the next day and it's for hours. You know what I mean? You're reforming this relationship. Okay. I'm not gonna question that. Of course I don't feel like that's for everyone. For some of you, this is new love coming in. I think what I want to do is look at the Seven of Cups that is over the Ace of Cups. So let's just clear the way. Two of Wands. The Hangman is no longer in the paused energy. Two of Wands means you're about to step on a new path. By the way, the Wands, you should feel very comfortable. This is inspiration. This is passion. Something's calling to you and you're following it. It's starting at a 2, but that may be a good thing. Especially if you're still trying to clear some old energy. Taking it step by step may be the perfect way. But again, I say that, but I feel like once the first conversation happens, I feel like the conversation never stops. Wow. That means you close that door. That means dreamy energy can now enter. That means you're trusting in yourself over anyone else. You're trusting also in your spiritual team. And you're paying attention to the signs. When we receive signs, often there's action that's needed. And sometimes it's literally just taking a step into it. So I feel like you are making a decision. You are accepting this cup. And it has the opportunity to go the whole way. I mean, this is marriage, the Four of Wands. I call it commitment only because, people my age, don't always want to get married again. Not that I wouldn't get married to Sam again. Not again, we weren't married before. Um, and if that day comes, then it comes. And that's why I call it the commitment card. It's like a piece of paper won't determine our love. Um, but sometimes, now when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, well, I think I would love to be his wife. Interesting, because we've had this discussion, and I said like I don't really think there's a need to get married. But now as I'm in your reading, I'm thinking, it would be nice to call him my husband. So I get it. It's like I just learned that. Okay. Let's bring out the clarifying love situations. And what I love about this deck is it doesn't just talk about love. Excuse me. All right. We have Legacies Rebirth. Legacies Rebirth. Honor history's remains to restore and breathe life into forgotten tales. I don't know why that sounds romantic to me, but I'm not even talking about love. Well, probably some of it's love. I feel like breathing life into forgotten tales. It feels like, really, it feels like everything and anything. Okay. We have Frozen Heart, empathy and warmth. Let me say that again. Empathy and warmth melts barriers. Oh, for true connections. It's a little bit of the Eight of Swords, but then the releasing of the Eight of Swords. Empathy and warmth melts barriers for true connections. Well, that's what the Four of Wands is, a true connection. And then last but not least, I mean, we're not done yet, but believe in the safety of your return as every journey leads back to comfort. Face Haven. Believe in the safety of your return as every journey leads back to comfort. I kind of feel like that's talking to those who may be reconnecting with someone. And I know some people just don't like me saying that in readings. Like, why are you always talking about someone of the past? Well, because it happens a lot. That's why, but this is not, um, like, I don't feel like this is talking about, like, if I was with someone and they cheated and they lied and they treated me like shit, in no way do I feel like it's talking about that. No way. But let's bring out the romance angels. I'm going to pick these up first. I think I'm going to put out that Twin Flame podcast. It is a video also, but it's just like pictures that I put on there. Um, and then release your reading because something is telling me that some of you will listen to that. Of course, you're not going to know that I'm saying this until after the fact. Okay, whoa, holy crap. We got a lot, but let's take them. Healing family issues. Mother Mary, same thing. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Interesting. I know what this means. You know, when I got married at the young age of 19, I married someone just like my dad. Now, my dad had a lot of great qualities. I was daddy's little girl until my parents separated. I think I was 13. And then everything changed. But one of the reasons why they separate is because, well, let's just put it this way. I have stepbrothers and stepsisters that I didn't know about until I was an adult. But yeah, I have some stepbrothers and stepsisters. So that's exactly what the man I married did. Cheated like 6 months into our marriage. To the point I even said to him, "Why the hell did you even ask me to marry you?" Forgiving and learning. Remember how I said in the Seven of Pentacles, I really feel that when it comes out, everything that we've gone through was meant to happen. It is really teaching us, and it's giving us an opportunity to evolve, or forgiveness is part of that. And by the way, if you claim to have a spiritual awakening, then forgiveness is definitely part of that. That means you're not going to carry the weight around any longer. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm picking up the phone and calling someone and saying, especially someone in the Seven of Swords, I don't think I would call them. But I've dealt with that energy and I have forgiven them, because otherwise I was just going to carry that the rest of my life and I didn't want to. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. Okay. Then we have, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Wow. That's that Seven of Swords. And I feel like I'll use myself for an example again. I know that I've had many red flags and I know I ignored them. And I definitely paid the price, but I still learned from them. Um, but in a way, I feel like that should also give you comfort to let you know that if, let's say, someone who wasn't good for you, someone who was like all about themselves, you know, came toward you, that red flag will be very, very clear. That's probably one of the reasons why the high priestess is coming over temperance. Really trusting your intuition above all. We have heart to heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Boy, do I feel like that is tying us back to this person. But also, I could see it with new love, because I get this sense when the conversation begins, no matter which direction it goes, I feel like the conversation just never ends. Playfulness. Another Mother Mary message. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Well, remember how I said about your charm this month? Like, I feel like you have the ability, I don't know, I just feel like you're just going to be so charming. And then attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Wow. So, kind of wrap this up. We open the reading with the death card asking us to consider a closing of a door. It does feel like it's a necessity, but a necessity if I want my life to look better, to be better, but also the ability to learn from what happened. And I don't mean that to put the blame on you. But truly, I feel like sometimes in love, like relationships, we're just learning what we don't want. And now I know what I do want. And I'm not talking like, tall, dark, and handsome. I'm talking about spiritual, open, loving. faithful, all of that. I feel like all of that is part of the potential of this love for you. I knew, I mean, yes, we have some difficult energy here, but it feels like that is what's leaving, if you allow. I have to say, though, our spirit guides are very good at, let's say, again, we do have the Seven of Swords twice. So, whether they're lying, or whether they're cheating, or whether they're doing both, I forget what I was gonna say. I forget what I was gonna say. Other than I was talking about the death card. So, I don't know. It's just like, I don't want to bring that. I don't want that to be part of my next chapter. And, maybe you weren't paying attention to your intuition at that time. I often say the first half of my life, I wasn't spiritual at all. And then certain things happened in my life that really took me in a whole new direction. And now I'm all about my spirituality. I'm all about everyone's spirituality. Evolving. The magician. Manifesting. Number one, money. Looks fantastic. But it is you putting that effort in. But at the same time, I get this feeling of like a side hustle becoming my main gig. And maybe I just needed to be bold enough to allow that to happen or just to begin. And then love. The lovers, the soulmates, the Ace of Cups, your spiritual team, talking about divine timing, the hangman in the awakened state now. I mean, we have two Aces of Cups. That may be why we're seeing like synchronicities within the numbers also. Hmm. I think I'm just going to let that be. I think I'm just going to let that be. Yeah. I was just like seeing if anything else wanted to come out, but it just feels like I should just let it be now. I feel like get excited for June and everything after that. June, it just means it's opening up. But the Four of Wands, that's the rest of your life. The Ten of Pentacles should be the rest of your life. Some of you are literally meeting the person, whether you already know them or it's someone brand new, that I feel like you are going to make a true commitment to. And I know Leo doesn't make a commitment easily. I know that. But Leo does fall in love pretty easily. But your charm just going to be off the charts. Remember Jupiter also, the planet of luck. Wow. Do I want to use that in my money or do I want to use that in my love or do I just want to use it in my whole life? Venus. I mean, you have even the moon, you have so much supporting energy for you this month. I cannot wait to see what you do with it. I cannot wait. And I do hope that, when you first watch your reading, you may still be like in the Eight of Swords, still a little stuck, right? And hopefully, this reading helps to show you the way, at least enough so you can find your way. And, a lot of people make comments right away, which I love your comments. But I have a feeling you're going to revisit this video and leave comments about who you now met, what you're now doing. Like, I feel like you're going to give me confirmation. All right, I'm going to let that be. I love you guys so much. Um, Listen, my prayer for you is number one, that you just set yourself free from any limiting ideas, beliefs, that you allow yourself to love. You don't have to. I mean, it's in your timing. This is why the ball is put in your court. You can say yay or nay. Some of you may be like, well, I want to concentrate on my finances right now. That's okay. Maybe this means that divine knows that and they want the same thing for you, right? They want you to have this success. They want you to believe in yourself and forget about, the naysayers. What do they know? Right? What do they know? Some of you, I feel like, be proud of the things that you are overcoming or you've already overcome. Some of these things may be something you do have to keep in check, but I feel like you will. June. Hello. That's what I say. Hello, June, for my beautiful Leos. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.